The day I walked away from my family was the day I was supposed to be proud. I had just been publicly dismissed from a cybersecurity firm I had devoted years of my life to. My boss had stood on that stage, the lights glaring down, and declared that my concerns about an insider threat were nothing but paranoia. The laughter that erupted from the audience, my family included, still echoes in my ears. "What a ridiculous dream," they said. "Digital archaeology? You'll be nothing but a laughingstock." But I wasn't going to let their ridicule bury me. I turned my back on their scoffing faces, the scornful glances that followed me as I walked out. I felt a fire igniting inside me, a relentless resolve. I would prove them wrong. I would channel the pain of their dismissal into something greater. The first few months were the hardest. I spent countless nights in my dimly lit apartment, surrounded by obsolete hard drives and corrupted storage devices. My hands were often stained with grease, my eyes tired from hours of staring at computer code. It felt almost surreal. I was digging through the digital remains of someone else's past, piecing together their stories, one fragmented bite at a time. And yet, amidst the chaos, I found clarity. Each recovery, each small success, felt like a stepping stone toward my redemption. It was a slow climb, and I was no longer the dismissed daughter. I was a digital archaeologist, a force to be reckoned with. I landed a few lucrative contracts with law enforcement agencies, helping them trace back cybercrimes to their roots. I published papers that reshaped the narrative of cybersecurity history. And then came the crown jewel, a groundbreaking documentary about my work that skyrocketed to fame. Suddenly, the world wasn't just aware of my field, they were captivated by it. And then the moment arrived when I felt ready to return home, to face my family once again. It was not out of a desire for their approval. It was about gathering the courage to confront the very people who had called my dreams absurd. I remember the day vividly, the sun glistening on the leaves as if holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. Walking through the door of my childhood home felt like stepping back in time. The walls were still painted the same sickly shade of beige, the furniture just as outdated. I could almost hear their laughter echoing off the walls, mocking my aspirations. They were gathered in the living room, their expressions shifting from surprise to disbelief as I walked in. "Look who finally decided to grace us with her presence," my father scoffed, his disdain palpable. "Actually, I came to show you something," I said, suppressing the tremor in my voice. I pulled a tablet from my bag, my heart racing as I tapped the screen to display the documentary trailer. The room fell silent, the air thick with tension. For the next 2 minutes, they watched in stunned silence as the trailer played. Images flickered across the screen, me standing in front of police departments, discussing cybercrime recovery, my face illuminated by the glow of computer screens and the intensity of my passion. The words "digital archaeologist" flashed prominently, and I could see their expressions shift from skepticism to disbelief, and finally to something akin to awe. As the trailer ended, I dared to glance at their faces. My mother's mouth hung open, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. My father, usually so stoic, had his brow furrowed in thought. "You really did this?" he stammered, his voice almost a whisper. "I did," I replied, my voice steadying. "And I'm not just doing it for myself. The work I do is about reclaiming lost histories, about exposing the truths buried in the digital dust. I've helped bring justice to victims of cybercrime, and I'm making a difference." Their silence was deafening, the weight of their past derision hanging heavily in the air. I could see the realization dawning on them, the consequences of their past mockery pressing against the walls of their pride. "You were right." My mother finally said, her voice breaking, "We thought you were chasing shadows. We thought you were an embarrassment." Her gaze fell to the floor, and I felt a pang of empathy for the woman who had once derided my dreams. "I'm so sorry." I took a deep breath, feeling a warmth spreading through me. "I don't need your apology," I said softly. "What I need is for you to understand that every dream deserves a chance. I took the leap, and it changed my life." As I left that day, I felt lighter, unburdened by their past judgments. I had confronted the demons of my childhood, and in that